Okay, hello everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome our guest, Dr. Arend. Thank you for agreeing to redo the original interview. As you know, sir, we're IPI colleagues and also friends. I met you first time 5-6 years ago in Portsmouth when you came to visit me and to actually interview me. And we've been in contact since then. I'm aware of your activities and research and achievements actually since then. For those of you that don't know Arend, he is in the business of oil and gas logistics, if I'm not mistaken. And he has a particular interest in using information sciences in a bit different way than the way I do it. So I'm interested in research related to information from a physics angle, looking at the laws of physics applied to information and doing something I call information physics. But Arend has expanded this research field into everything else. Essentially, his work touches on economics, politics, social aspects. Am I missing anything? It's really vast. And he developed. He actually wrote a PhD thesis. In 2025, he got his PhD in sciences. So congratulations for that. And his research revolved around exactly this. If you can tell our viewers a little bit about your activities and your work, sir, to understand what you are doing, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much, and apologies again about the typo. It came straight from a copy and paste. I don't know how that happened.
Okay, no, not to worry. People remember me now forever because the name is now significantly talked about. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Van Melvin, a friend. I've been working on this idea of relation of information physics and then connecting it to society. By looking at that from to use information as a fundamental entity and relating it to the misuse or the abuse of information, and discovered that this has a thermodynamic impact. You can't do that. You can't destroy or information by suppressing it, for example. So society is dependent on as you discovered, a balance of matter, mass, information and energy in a stable form. Without either of them, nothing works. So the idea of Van Campen law was to create a general law of functionality. So when we apply this knowledge that information is crucial to the functionality of every living systems, not just society, but us as human beings, bodies, companies, everything that is alive depends on the open stream of feedback. So everything is feedback dependent, based upon the work, for example, by Gregory Bateson and by Norbert Wiener. And then the cybernetics that developed by them, of course, confirms that nothing works without, for example, open communication and related feedback, so living systems can keep learning. So that is actually the starting point when I wanted to finish in my age my PhD, and now I have a lot of tests and evidence that it really works.
So in a nutshell, you are essentially saying that the lack of information or the wrong kind of information, the misinformation, leads to extra energy consumption, extra effort, and destabilization and chaos in any system. And this it ends up costing more, essentially by lying or creating misinformation. You end up actually spending more money or wasting valuable energy. Is that in a nutshell what essentially you are saying?
Yes, the information deficit, and I call it an information deficit paradox, is that when you need energy to lie, to suppress information, that action of doing that already dissipates the energy needed to achieve your goal. So there is always a cost price, a price in energy, a price in impact on society. So that is then can be translated in a monetary cost, if you like.
Okay, so I think I misunderstood the mechanics here. I thought that the process of misinformation leads to an energetic cost downstream later, but you are saying that actually the energetic cost comes from the energy you put in to create the misinformation, or is a combination of both? Which one is it?
Well, the first one, of course, is essential because that demonstrates the information deficit paradox. And the other one, what goes around comes around, is of course the energetic cost of sustaining or maintaining that lie for a long term. So if you lie once, you have to lie 10 times, which of course dissipates even more information.
I see now. Yeah, that makes sense. And so you kindly shared some videos with me, and I have them on our YouTube channel. In one of the videos, there is a very interesting estimate with real money. So you are using your theory to actually do real estimates of this misinformation cost or the wasted energy paradox, I think you call it. And in there, you took a look at European Union entire economy, and you estimated that 1 trillion euros economy would cost about 18%, about 175 billion euros, almost 18% cost of wasted information or wasted energy and money because of this process of dishonesty and misinformation and wrong information or wrong perception. If you would, this is fascinating stuff, and if you would explain, how did you actually estimate that? What's the process to estimate that, please? Fascinating stuff.
Well, the basis of this is that we have created our own AI system that can estimate or calculate impact on society and put a financial monetary number on it, because it just finds relative cost of inefficiencies worldwide from the web, and then applies it to this inquiry. We asked, for example, to the AI, and her name is Cassandra, what would be the monetary impact of a society that is based on information deficit paradox. So then it gives us a number, an estimate of course, and it gave us a number between, for a $1 trillion economy such as the Netherlands, about between 6 and 17%. So this is a significant number that can be then further investigated, for example, by an accounting firm to establish it. So it is an idea that if you invest in a system of which you know already beforehand that it cannot work, then that money is wasted and it cannot be even retrieved. So with the AI system now we can estimate and predict, the functionality of any man-made system, so preventing the investments into a non-feasible idea, an ideological goal, or a politically motivated gain.
Fascinating stuff, and I'm just wondering, is this not actually ideal for large companies, governments. I mean, this because I believe you developed an app and an AI engine to actually tackle this issue. Is that related to Cassandra, the Cassandra application, the AI, Cassandra AI that runs on your own server, if I remember correctly?
Right.
So this should be.
Exactly.
I think obviously, as you said, it's a matter of cross-checking the numbers, having some kind of verification mechanism or audits. But if this really functions the way you are saying and is really so powerful, that it would be an invaluable tool to any government, to any large company. It would be something that they should be using it non-stop, isn't it?
Yes, yes, I think so too. Because the outcomes of all the tests we've done. The Cassandra is the idea. Cassandra was the daughter of Priam, the clairvoyant daughter who predicted the fall of Troy, but she was never believed. So that's why we called her Cassandra. So she has a clairvoyant, and it's an early warning intelligence, really, and it's based upon your law of physics, all the laws of physics that I could find, about 10 or 11 laws of physics that demonstrate that laws of physics are the boundaries of reality. So you cannot break them, you cannot ignore them. So when we make a prediction, it will be always done within the constraints of reality, and therefore the outcome is very valuable because it will not tell you something that cannot go beyond the boundaries of functionality, beyond the reality. So you would have the advice how if a system is not feasible or an investment is not the ROI on an investment will not be returned because of, for example, geopolitical constraints or societal problems in a country, for example. The AI will find that information based, and then give you an advice. It gives you, say, okay, these conditions are not met. These are beyond this idea of realiteit, limitations of reality, which I called realiteit. Therefore, you should not invest, or it's okay, you can invest. So it saves a lot of money, and we did several tests on large corporations that this system could prevent losses of over 4% for a company, because the AI reduces the entropy in its operational system.
Yeah, so to sell this, I think
becomes available.
These are very abstract concepts. I think it's hard work to sell this to CEOs and government people. You need a good selling pitch, a good presentation, and I think they understand the best the numbers. When you put on the table an estimate and say, I'm going to save you that many billions, that's going to sweeten up the deal, and they're going to take it on board in no time. But you launched this already. This is a commercial product that is ready to be utilized. It's in the public domain, and
yes, it's now 1 week old, Melvin. 1 week old.
Amazing. And what you told me, you are running this from your own server at home. Is that correct, or is not on the cloud or anything?
Right.
So that means it's total privacy. It's like it can be isolated from any external attacks or any external influence or anything. So this is another mega bonus on your system.
It is built like that. For the moment, it's open for the public. So it uses, of course, Google, for example, but we can isolate it because it's self-standing server, correct?
Wow. So this is really such an amazing progress you've done in such a short time, actually, because you are also running your own logistics business in addition to this. So it's quite commendable, the stuff you are doing. So what's next? Sir? What's your next project? What do you plan to do next?
Well, next, I hope that this Cassandra will be successful, not just for money, but for the societal gain, because I think that society is now suffering from the wrong decisions based upon the deficit of information. Therefore, there's no energy enough anymore to sustain it. So hopefully that'll be helpful. It takes time for people to realize that information is not just anything, but it is a fundamental thing in the universe.
It's the fifth state of matter, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I've learned that all from you, sir. So I'm very grateful that we met and that we have become, colleagues. And so, yeah, the message, of course, is that hopefully this can be used for education purposes as well. People who are now educated in schools and universities, through, for example, only focusing on economic growth, that economic growth is impossible beyond this idea of realiteit, the limitations of reality, which are governed by the laws of physics.
So there is something to do with the perception as well in this business, and the way you constructed your model is because essentially what is fed to the society or a given individual, the information that we receive, it shapes up our perception of reality, isn't it? And for example, one example that comes to my mind is the way they use various mechanisms to shape our perception of the inflation in the economy. So they use things like hedonics and all sorts of mechanisms to convince everyone that the inflation is 2% or 1% or something like that, when the real numbers are a bit higher than the official figures, always a bit higher. And they use all sorts of... But that is something to do with the perception, because if we perceive, for example, I took inflation, but this could be applied to anything else. If we perceive that the inflation is low, then maybe in terms of economics and our actions, we act in a specific way. If we perceive inflation is high, maybe we take different decisions. And shaping perception is actually the first effect of this infusion of disinformation, maybe, or some kind of manipulated information, if you want. So how do you take into account this aspect, that there is an observer effect there, if you want? There is the perception that is being shaped, and then everything else follows from that. How do you take into account this?
Yeah, well, the first answer would be that when I created the equation for this functionality and dysfunctionality, I had to add later on the P of perception, because the perception is the first income of information in any person. So it depends how he or she interprets reality that shapes the outcome. So inflation, as an example, of course, is caused by a flawed financial system that is based upon disinformation, first of all. So directly it relates to the information deficit paradox again. So inflation, interpreting it's only 2% or 4%, but actually the interpretation does not make it a reality. It's not really the real number that is maybe true. So first of all, the question is, like Aristotle, seek knowledge of cause. And when we have the cause that the financial system is flawed, the fiat system is flawed, these things I've also tested by our AI. Now we can go back, how can we repair them so that the inflation number will be reliable.
Yeah, I picked, it wasn't specific, the reason I talked about inflation. It's just the first thing that came from my mind, but obviously it's highly relevant in today's world.
Just an example.
Yeah, it was just an example. I wasn't specifically looking at the inflation, but it's just an example. But this can be applied to everything. It's science, it's economics, it's politics. I mean, in politics, you can technically influence the vote in an election by a correct infusion of information or the a specific mechanism or dynamics of information being channeled to the electorate through social media, through campaigning and all other mechanisms. Essentially, this is what we do: is shaping up perception of everyone through information. And coincident to this, we had an IPI talk, I think a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, from a Swedish Russian professor, and he was talking about some research he does in using the concept of information social lasers, information social lasers. So on the same principle as the laser functionality, except you replace the cascading decay of electrons and synchronized photon emission. You replace that with, if you want, with photons of information or bits of information that are being channeled in a concept, very abstract concept of social information laser, and that could be used to do a lot of things in the society and manipulate a lot of societal groups and create specific actions or reactions. So it's really fascinating stuff. And as I said, my interest is in information physics, but to see that the business of information is being applied to society, to economics, to politics, to all the other, to environment, to everything else, is quite fascinating. Things I never thought about, actually, and to see. And you are one of them working in this, and you are even entering the commercial space with this, which is by coincidentally, if you ever sell any shares in this Cassandra AI, please drop me an email because I might be interested in getting on board on that.
Yeah,
it sounds like a nice initiative there.
We and really appreciate you being participating on this. It's wonderful, but your mind behind this will also, ensure our success. I'm sure.
So Arend, I didn't advertise this live streaming interview with you, but we do have some live viewers actually that I can see here on YouTube Studio. I just wanted to ensure you that I'm also recording this locally. So there was a little error that popped up in YouTube Studio about the bitrate transfer. Probably the internet going a bit slow on my end. But I do record this locally. So if there is a problem with the YouTube recording, I'm going to upload the correct video anyway. But I wanted to apologize to any viewers that are live there. It's something beyond my control, this bit rate that YouTube receives. So finally, thank you so much, sir, for this. And finally, I understand you are looking at organizing something in August this year, the Mind Walk initiative. October. Okay, so August was my thing. Yes, so I keep doing. I had my coffee this morning, but clearly I need another one. So sorry about that.
Well, actually, I was inspired by this movie by Fritjof Capra about science, about a lot of questions about life and biology and everything in the 90s. It's called Mind Walk. It's a And as a student of Fritjof Capra as well, I thought, hey, this may be an idea to have a scientific weekend organized. We call Mind Walks. And as I live in the mountains in the Alps in Switzerland, we have beautiful walks here, beautiful hikes. So I thought, why not, start organizing events, scientific events with people such like you and others, to do mind walks, to walks through the forest, walks over the mountains here, and have discussions, and nice food, nice drinks, nice hotel. So that's why I designed this brochure, and hopefully people, will find it interesting.
Yeah, it certainly sounds very attractive, and I would love to to actually, yeah, it's an amazing idea. But from my angle, October is a very busy time in terms of academic teaching. So
Anytime,
traveling.
Yeah, but anytime.
Yeah.
Because it could be we could do it in the spring next year, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. The problem, as you know, I tried to organize a conference in August this year, and the problem with face-to-face, like in-person conferences, is always the cost implications. You have, especially for international travel, that there is the cost of flights. Then you have the hotel. Then is a small conference fee that is unavoidable, and it creates some problems, especially when you have a lot of IPI members are retired engineers, retired academics, retired scientists, or independent researchers, and they don't have the funding, the research funding to pay for conference travel or conference fees. So the overwhelming feedback I had about my conference, that there is a lot of interest, but they would prefer to have it online. And as you know, you actually pay the fees, the conference fees, and I issued a full refund. I hope you got the money already, or at least the email to let you know that the money is on the way. But I moved all the operations, the entire conference to online only, to accommodate everyone and to make sure, it's. But the Mind Walk sounds like. Incredible. I mean, I can't think of anything nicer than to have science discussions over a pint in Alps, and go for a walk and breathe fresh air and stimulate each other and all that. And I think it's amazing. But again, there's that cost and time implication for everyone. So. Yeah.
But when Cassandra makes enough money, I'll pay for it. No worry.
when Cassandra makes enough money, I hope I'm a shareholder on that. Don't forget your friends. I'll buy shares in that. I'll be happy to be an investor.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for everything.
Starting up. Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for everything, and have a lovely weekend. And I'll see you, I guess, next weekend. We have an IPI talk next weekend. It will be an interesting IPI talk.
I'll try to be there.
We'll catch up next weekend. God bless, and thank you so much for your time.